you ever looked at a bottle of pomegranate juice and wondered how many people it took to get it there? I used to take it for granted too, the tart, refreshing taste of pomegranate on a hot afternoon. But once I saw how this fruit is actually grown, harvested, and processed, I couldn't unsee it. Behind that bottle is a journey that begins long before harvest. And this is GREEN-AgroWorks, where we explore the untold stories of modern farming. Today, I'm taking you deep into the world of pomegranate production, where hundreds of tons of fruit are brought from dusty orchards to high-tech bottling lines with incredible care and precision. Our story begins in the fields. Not machines, not factories, but land and labor. Tiny saplings are planted by hand in soil that's been patiently prepared. These trees won't bear fruit for 3, sometimes 4 years, and during that time, farmers nurture them through dry spells, harsh winds, and every changing season. When the fruit finally ripens, deep red, firm, and full of juice, the harvest begins, but not with tractors or robotic arms. Pomegranates bruise easily, their skin is soft, so each fruit is picked by hand with care. In this episode, I'll take you behind the scenes, past the orchard rows and into the processing plants, where tradition, technology, and human craftsmanship meet in one of the most fascinating food journeys I've ever witnessed. The story of every pomegranate begins with the land. Before there's fruit, there's soil, dry, cracked, sun-baked earth that needs to be carefully prepared for planting. On the farm I visited, workers used deep tillers to break up the hardened surface, then dug planting holes about 2 feet deep and spaced each one 10 feet apart. This gives the trees plenty of room to stretch as they grow. Pomegranates thrive in semi-arid climates, and this particular farm, like many across California's Central Valley and parts of Arizona, makes the most of long, hot summers and minimal rainfall. Once the rows are laid out, we plant young saplings. Some are propagated from seed, but most come from cuttings of healthy, mature trees, cloned to preserve the exact variety. Farmers choose cuttings that are disease-resistant and known for high yields and rich flavor. After planting, it's a long waiting game. A pomegranate tree doesn't rush. It takes 3 to 4 years before it produces its first full crop. But during that time, the work never stops. The trees need to be watered regularly, but not too much. Most farms use drip irrigation systems, which deliver just the right amount of moisture to each root zone. As the trees grow, we prune them carefully, shaping the branches for airflow and light exposure. That reduces the risk of fungal disease and helps ensure even fruit development. These trees are surprisingly tough, but they're not immune. We monitor for pests, especially aphids and leaf-footed bugs, and treat early using organic sprays when possible. Sustainability is important here. Watching these tiny trees grow season after season, you start to appreciate how much patience farming really takes. You don't just grow fruit, you grow trust. You prepare for something you won't see for years, and hope that, when the time comes, the trees will reward your care with something incredible. Pruning becomes a regular part of the process. We trim lower limbs to encourage upward growth and remove crowded branches to allow for better airflow and light penetration. More sunlight means better photosynthesis, which means healthier fruit. It's a balance between art and science. Around the second year, the trees begin to flower. It's an exciting moment, but also a test of patience. The first blossoms might be beautiful, but they don't always lead to usable fruit. We often remove early blooms to redirect the tree's energy back into root and canopy development. As fruit finally begins to form, it's surprisingly delicate. The skin of a young pomegranate is soft, and any damage during this stage can affect how the fruit ripens later. We monitor for pests like leaf-footed bugs, which pierce the skin and cause internal discoloration. Organic deterrents like neem oil and beneficial insects help us keep populations in check without resorting to heavy chemical treatments. The trees also need protection from unexpected stress, high winds, sudden cold snaps, or prolonged drought. Most farms install windbreaks and use moisture sensors in the soil to avoid over or underwatering. It's farming with precision, guided by data, but still deeply connected to instinct. By the end of the third year, something magical starts to happen. The fruit sets in more consistently, the shape becomes rounder, the skin richer in color. You walk through the orchard, and for the first time, it feels less like a field and more like a promise. The trees are almost ready to give back. Have you ever picked a pomegranate straight from the tree, or tasted one that was harvested the very same day? Let us know in the comments. If you have, type 1, and if you haven't, type 0. Keep watching. We'd love to hear about your experience. And if you're enjoying this behind-the-scenes look at how real food is grown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to GREEN-AgroWorks. Now let's step into the orchard, because harvest season is here. When harvest season finally arrives, usually in late summer or early fall, the orchard transforms. The green leaves begin to fade just slightly, and the pomegranates themselves take center stage. Their once pale skins now glow in shades of deep red, burgundy, and even golden blush. It's a breathtaking sight. But here's something you might not expect. Even on large-scale farms, most pomegranates are still harvested entirely by hand. That's because the fruit is surprisingly fragile. Pomegranate skin might look tough, but it bruises easily. A drop from just a couple feet can create invisible damage, the kind that only shows up days later when the fruit splits or turns brown inside. Machines are fast, but they don't know how to be gentle. So instead, we walk row by row through the orchard with canvas-lined crates, gently twisting each fruit from its stem. An experienced picker knows what to look for: the right shape, the right weight, a hollow sound when tapped, and a smooth, taut skin. It takes skill and intuition, things no machine can replicate. Each crate holds about 30 to 40 pounds of fruit, and once filled, they're carefully loaded onto flatbed trucks headed to the facility. In one day, a single worker might harvest 1,000 pounds, and yet the rhythm never feels rushed. It's almost meditative. There's something humbling about this part of the process. After years of waiting and working, it all comes down to hands, human hands, touching each fruit, trusting their instincts. As I walked alongside the harvest crew, I realized that this wasn't just about picking fruit. It was about honoring the time it took to get here. Every pomegranate pulled from a branch was a small victory, proof that patience, care, and timing still matter in a world racing toward automation. Once the crates are full, the pomegranates are loaded onto flatbed trucks and transported to the processing facility, usually within just a few hours of harvest. The goal is to keep the fruit as fresh as possible, because pomegranates don't just bruise easily, they also age quickly in warm conditions. At the plant entrance, each load is weighed and logged. From there, the fruit enters a multi-stage cleaning system. It starts with a long water bath, not just plain water, but water treated with ozone or UV light, designed to remove bacteria and pesticide residue. The fruits move slowly along a food-grade conveyor belt, gently rotated by soft rollers. High-pressure sprayers rinse away remaining dirt, while soft brushes scrub the outer skin without damaging it. After washing, the pomegranates pass through air-drying tunnels that remove excess moisture, preparing them for either packing or processing. At this stage, the fruit is carefully inspected and graded by size, color, and shape. Some facilities even use 3D vision scanners and AI-powered sorting systems to detect imperfections or internal bruising. Depending on their condition and destination, the pomegranates follow different paths. The most pristine fruits are packed whole for fresh produce markets, often heading to grocery stores across the US, Canada, and Europe. Others move on to the juice line, where they'll be cracked open and pressed within hours. It's fascinating to watch. Machines and people working in sync, with quiet precision. No chaos, no noise. Just an elegant rhythm of modern agriculture. As I stood above the processing line, watching those ruby red fruits roll by, I realized how much care goes into every single one, even before it becomes juice. Clean fruit is safe fruit, and here cleanliness isn't just a standard, it's a philosophy. After a thorough wash and quality check, these pomegranates are spotless and ready for their next big transformation. But here's a question for you. Do you prefer eating pomegranate seeds or drinking the juice? Drop your answer in the comments. We're curious. If this journey is as fascinating to you as it is to us, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to GREEN-AgroWorks for more real farm stories. Now let's head inside the juicing room, where modern technology turns fresh fruit into pure, vibrant pomegranate juice. Once the pomegranates are cleaned and sorted, the next step is what many people are most curious about: turning whole fruit into fresh, vibrant juice. The fruit that doesn't go to fresh produce shelves is sent to the juicing line. Here, machines carefully crack open the pomegranates without damaging the seeds inside. That's important because the seeds, or arils, hold nearly all the flavor and nutrients. Next comes extraction. Some facilities use cold press hydraulic systems, which slowly squeeze the juice out of the arils without generating heat. This helps preserve antioxidants, vitamins, and that bold ruby color. Others may use centrifugal extractors for higher volume, especially in large-scale production. The juice is then passed through a series of filters to remove pulp and small seed fragments. Depending on the brand, it may be pasteurized using low-heat methods or high-pressure processing, HPP, a technology that preserves shelf life without compromising taste or nutrients. Once filtered and treated, the juice moves directly into automated bottling lines. Transparent PET bottles or glass jars are filled to precise volumes, usually 8, 12, or 16 ounces, sealed with tamper-evident caps labeled and packed into cartons. Throughout the entire process, quality checks are constant. Color, pH levels, taste, and even viscosity are tested in real time. The goal? Consistency. Every bottle should taste just as fresh and bold as the last. It's amazing how fast it happens. What took 3 to 4 years to grow is now juiced, bottled, and ready for shipment, often in just one day. Watching it unfold, I couldn't help but feel a deep respect, not just for the technology, but for what it protects: the flavor, the nutrients, and the effort of everyone involved from root to bottle. From the moment a sapling is planted to the instant a bottle is sealed, the journey of a pomegranate is long, patient, and deeply human. It's a story of land and labor, of innovation and care, and in every drop of juice, there's a quiet tribute to the people who make it all happen. As I walked through the orchard and watched the bottling line in motion, I realized something simple but powerful. Food doesn't just appear, it's earned. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. There are so many more stories like this, hidden in the roots of everyday ingredients, and we're here to tell them. Thanks for watching GREEN-AgroWorks. See you in the next episode.